I'm Tommy. I'm a graphic designer and I love to make things, and I live in Denver. I grew up in East Tennessee though, so that's where this accent came from. Hopefully you can understand me. Some people can't. The point of this is to show you the things that I make and track my progress and hopefully make some friends and learn some new things. So I've mainly focused on creating things out of yarn. Like, that's the thing that I'm doing right now, and I've been doing since I was in middle school in 2002. And now I'm working as a graphic designer. I went to the University of Tennessee in Knoxville and made some great friends there. Learned a lot of cool things from some great people. And I work for a branding agency in Miami where I lived for 2 years, and now I'm working remotely. Her name's Vanilla Shade Media. Check out our work in the link below. I'd love to show you some of my work as like my crafty work. So let's get started with that. Let's start with, so these are a bunch of things I've finished over the years. So this is a quilt. I don't know the name of the pattern, but it's a star pattern that was given to me by my cousin, who is kind of like my grandmother. And it's got 4 different colors and two patterned fabrics. I wanted to match all my colors to the blue flower vine pattern. These are all Walmart fabrics. Back in the day. I made this probably 2009 when I was in college during the summer, and I wanted something very colorful that I can take back with me and use in my apartment when I was living by myself. I love it. I think it's gorgeous. I still love it. I think it goes great in this living room even, but pull it out when I need something extra. The back is red, and here's what it looks like up close. So basically it's a bunch of triangles and squares and rectangles. So here's a triangle, here's a triangle, here's a triangle, so you can get how it goes together. You sew the triangles together, and then you sew the squares together, and then you sew the strips together and make a block. It's actually pretty easy if you break it down. It's just time consuming. I guess the worst part is cutting out the pieces, but it's not so bad. You get the hang of it. The way I would do it is cut out a piece of cardboard in the shape of each piece, and then like a thin cardboard, and then you pin it, and then you just cut around it you cut through the fabric that you've layered together, so it's a lot faster. But I love how it turned out. And can you see the quilting? So the quilting is the layers of fabric and the filling that's sewn all together. so, you know, it doesn't move around. This is just, you know, how quilts are made. I guess most people know, but trying to inform and delight here. So she calls it, Betty calls it, my cousin, she calls it a cloud pattern. And she taught me how to do it. The quilting machine is really cool. It's a giant table that fills a whole room in her house, and the sewing machine you walk with and you move with it and create the pattern. So theoretically, you could sew anything on it. It's an acquired skill. A lot of my clouds are a little wobbly, but it turned out pretty good. So that's the first thing. The next thing I'd like to show you is a hat that I sewed. It's made out of a pink towel. I got it at Target because I made this pretty quickly. I made it in the night before I was gonna wear it to the comic convention in Miami. So the show Bob's Burgers, which is a cartoon, I wanted to dress up as Louise from the show with my boyfriend at the time, Marco, who's now my husband, and his friend Rob, and we were the kids from the show, the Belcher kids is what they're called. So yeah, I'm excited about how it turned out still, because I made it in one night and I didn't have a pattern, and I just basically drew on a big piece of paper what I thought it should be shaped like, the different panels of the hat. There's three. See, there's a long piece that goes over the head, and then the side ear parts are their own piece. Needed to be 3D to fit my head. And the ears, and I figured I kind of just eyeballed the proportions. When it comes to patterns, unless it's like a quilt, those I pretty much follow the pattern exactly based on the way that I did the quilt. Was Betty gave me the quilt block that it's supposed to finish what it's supposed to look like, and the pattern is a bunch of pieces of paper that you use to cut out the blocks. And this was just, I just kind of made it up based on pictures and other people's hats I saw on the internet. So, oh yeah, so what I'm saying is, I don't always follow patterns. I kind of improvise because that's the way I know how to do things, and that's how I've done things since I was a kid. So yeah, this is the hat. This is how we looked at the convention. It was fun, and sometimes I pull it out and wear it around to things, you know, appropriate, when it's the appropriate attire, like Halloween. But I need to add some wire to the ears because they're too floppy. There is cardboard inside, and that is not stable enough for walking around. I have to pin this to my head to keep it from falling over too. So, speaking of hats with ears, this is one that I made around the same time as the quilt, back 2009. Been crocheting since 2002, and this is a hat I made, crocheted. So, as you can see, it's kind of small. You see the stitching. I didn't have a pattern for this either. I just went around and made it fit my head, and then added some ear flappies, and then I added the ears. I don't know, when I crochet, I kind of like to make up my own things and figure out as I go, and generally I use very simple colors to match things, and I just like to keep it simple because I don't get tired of them. So here's a scarf that I made for Marco, my husband, a couple years ago. And it's simple, it's crocheted but long ways, and it's kind of I don't know what the name of the stitches that I used for it. I kind of made it up because it's a single stitch, but no, it's a double stitch, but instead of, I don't want to be too technical, but basically I made it a bulkier stitch, so it would be squishier. So yeah, I only know single and double crochet. I don't really know what you call other ones. I'm not an expert crocheter, but I'm a prolific crocheter. I've made a lot of scarves and hats for friends and family, and I love gifting things that I've made because they're very warm, and I think they come from the heart because you put a little bit of yourself in everything that you make. I've made 2 quilts, and one of them also was a gift. I've made all kinds of things, and I can't even remember because most of the things that I make I do give as gifts. But I like that. This year, planning on making a lot of things for me. Gonna ramp up the making. I'm excited about it. So that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm sharing. So, all right. Next thing I made, which I'm pretty excited about. This is the first knitting project that I've ever finished for myself. So it's the second knitting project I've ever finished, period. I learned to knit probably that same year, 2009, back in college. Then things got crazy and I quit knitting and crocheting, and I moved around a lot. I moved to Miami. I tried to pick it up in Miami, but it's very hot there, so you don't really want to knit or crochet anything. That was what happened to me anyway, and I got busy with other things, like my job and exploring the end of the world, the end of the United States down there. Anyway, this was a simple hat that Jacqueline Salem helped me get started on. So thank you, Jacqueline, for your guidance and inspiration. She has a channel called Brooklyn Knitfolk, and I'll provide the link so you can check that out. Check out the description below for links to all the things that are relevant that I'm talking about. So this turned out way too big. Let me demonstrate it. Even not stretching it out like I just did, it just doesn't look nice, does it? But that's okay because I made it to practice and to actually finish something, because I'm adopting the philosophy that finished is better than perfect when it comes to my creations here. Because the more you make, the better you get, and the next thing's going to be even more cool and awesome. And I relearned how to knit when I picked this back up because it had been a long time. When I originally learned, I was knitting right-handed, the throwing method. So I was used to knitting more tightly back then. Like, I knew that I was a tight knitter, and then when I picked up the yarn again, for some reason it went to my left hand. And I think it's because when you hold the yarn in crochet, you hold it in your left hand, or at least I've always held it in my left hand. I think that that's the common way of doing it. But I didn't realize that my knitting would be much looser this time around. So I'm excited to learn the left-handed method though, because that means my I have the potential to be a lot faster according to the things that I've read. So this has taken me 2 months to finish. I finished it yesterday, but if I finished it, it's pretty much a whole skein. And if it was properly sized, it would not have taken the whole thing. But here we are. And so the stitches, as you can see, I started down here, and the farther I went, the straighter they got. So I think that that's progress. So if anyone's got a really big head, let me know. Maybe you could use it. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll keep it because it's my first hat. But, oh yeah, I use size 10 needles. This is a bulky weight yarn. It's 100% merino, super wash, but I don't remember what kind it is. So I got it at a shop in Knoxville, Loopsville, I think. It's in Bearden, but great yarn, and I had fun doing it, and I'm glad it's over. Because now I can move on to new things. So the next thing I want to show you real quick. Something I did for my job, and I'm really proud of it. It's a pattern that got printed on towels and other things in Wings Beachwear, which is a beach shop, vacation shop. It's where you go to get all the things you need to reach the beach. I'm sure you've been to one, because if you've been to Myrtle Beach, Fort Lauderdale, I don't know, any of those East Coast vacation spots, they even have one in California and Texas. They sell the vacation stuff, souvenirs. You can get really cool like coolers that are also pillows there. They're one of our clients at Vanilla Shape Media, and I got the opportunity to create these fun illustrations. Here, I'll just put it on the screen so you can see. Thanks to the lovely ladies at Vanilla Shape Media for the art direction and camaraderie and fun. Okay, that was lame. Alright, so yeah, this was really great and one of my favorite things I've ever made. And they printed it on a towel, so, and I got one. Thank you. Thank you, Wings. Yeah, we did their rebrand, by the way, and refreshed their image and made it more fun. And I think it turned out great. So, the next thing I want to talk about, the last finished object I want to talk about is this couch. What? You made a couch? No. We dyed it. It was white and now it's like a blue color, and I think it turned out great. It's 18 pounds of fabric, and according to the RIT dye we used 1 navy bottle and 8 bottles of pearl gray for 18 pounds of fabric, which we were supposed to put this bottle in it too, but I was pouring it all out and I forgot about this one, but that's okay. I like how it turned out. It kind of looks like a denim color, and we dyed it in the bathtub, and that was, you know, kind of awful to clean up, but we did a pretty good job of keeping everything clean, and I was able to undye the bathtub afterwards. But so I'm glad it turned out like this, but at the same time I had envisioned that there would be no texture. What happened was there was so much fabric and we could only move it around. You're supposed to agitate it for an hour, but we agitated it for 30 minutes, which some people say you can do, and I think it's fine. It's just that what happened was it folded on itself and created these textured, looks like wrinkles, just because it's kind of like a really subtle tie-dye. But I like how it turned out because it's homemade, you know, and it kind of feels homey now. It's better than having a white couch, which was really my goal from the beginning. If you're gonna dye 18 pounds of cotton heavy duty cotton fabric, probably you should break it up into 2 batches and just measure it really well and make sure you have the same temperature of water and that you agitate it and keep it in there the same amount of time. And then you won't have wrinkles. But we just threw it all in at once because I was thinking that we would have less variation in color between each piece of fabric, but you live and you learn. And it looks pretty good. Here's a picture. Margot was instrumental to getting this done because it's really hard to agitate so much fabric by yourself for so long. And the rinsing part was pretty killer too. And yeah, we washed it in the washing machine after and it came out like this. So yeah, I'm very proud of us. So let's talk about what I'm working on now. This yarn, which is a Plymouth Select worsted weight, kind of bluish gray yarn, is going to be a scarf. And this scarf is super cool. I found it today and I'm really excited about it. I've already cast it on. What? It's only 3? Yeah, I'm excited about that one. Like, I've decided I'm only going to do patterns that I'm super excited about, like that one. That'll keep me motivated. And it won't be that hard now that I'm getting better. It's a color tip scarf, Purl Soho pattern. It's got 3 different colors, and I'm going to be picking out, well, I'll get a white color and then another one that's a little more punchy, like a bright pink or a pretty yellow, or I don't know. I like their color choices here, so maybe I'll kind of go with that. But I got this yarn at the lamb shop and I'm going to be going back there to check out some more. They're in Denver. They have a large selection of yarn and they have classes and a coffee bar. So it's a cool place. So the next upcoming project will be a sweater. It's inspired by this one by Everlane, as you can see. I really like the texture and I like how long it is. I showed it to my friend Jacqueline and she said it was just like, it was similar to the Deschutes sweater pattern that she's working on. So I checked it out and it's really beautiful. I love the waffly knit texture. So I'm going to take on a sweater. I'm not sure if it's going to be the very next thing I do, but I'm going to be on the hunt for some yarn for that. So another thing, I'm going to be making some project bags, and I got this on sale. I think it used to be a Halloween pattern. Can you tell what it is from over here? Or is it just like a fancy pattern? Kind of fancy. It's a cat with skulls! I love black cats. My favorite cat in the world is a black cat named Joe. So, yeah, I think it's beautiful. I'm gonna make, so the project, the reason you have project bags, so you can stuff your knitting projects in there and they won't come apart when you're bringing them around. And you can keep all your gear together. So if you have more than one project, it's great to have more than one project bag so you can just, grab and go and keep everything together, because I let everything go all over the place. Like, I have no idea where all my yarn labels are right now, so I don't remember the names of the colors and stuff, but that's okay. So the next thing I want to show you is a yarn that I got also. That fabric came from Fancy Tiger Crafts in Denver, which is I guess a pretty famous yarn store according to my yarn friends. So this is a single ply merino DK weight yarn, and I think the color is called Barnacle, and I don't remember who made it, but I'll try to put all the relevant links in the footer so you can check these out. But it's really fluffy looking, and I think it's really pretty. Look at so overall the color, hopefully the color shows through on the video, but it's kind of a yellowy green overall, and then there's flecks of pink and a royal blue that kind of transitions into a purple and rusty colors. It's quite pretty. I'm on the lookout for a pattern to use it in. In the future, I want to expand this into showing some of the adventures I get into in Denver and share what I'm doing in drawing or painting. Right now I've been knitting and moving around. We just got here, so our little place is coming together, and we got our couch, and now we can sit in the living room. So yeah, stay sharp.